Have you ever felt the walls closing in, literally? This isn't a horror movie. It's a true story. A man, full of life and adventure, entered a cave in Utah and never came back out. His name was John Edward Jones, and his final moments inside Nutty Putty Cave are among the most haunting tragedies in the world of cave exploration. This is not just a tale of claustrophobia, it's a chilling reminder of the risks we take when exploring the unknown. Before we dive in, subscribe to Infinity for true jaw-dropping stories that push the limits of human endurance and test the boundaries of life and death. John Edward Jones was no amateur. Born in 1983 into a family that loved spelunking, cave exploring, John had been crawling through underground labyrinths since he was a kid. He was confident, healthy, and smart. At 26 years old, John was in medical school and married with a child. Life was going well. It was Thanksgiving week 2009. John and his family were visiting their hometown of St. George, Utah. And like many holiday traditions, they had a plan to reconnect with family and with the caves they used to explore. One cave stood out, Nutty Putty. Located just outside of Salt Lake City, it had a reputation. This wasn't your average tourist cave. Nutty Putty was known for its narrow passageways, unpredictable turns, and dangerously tight squeezes. It had been temporarily closed years earlier due to rescue operations gone wrong. But it was reopened, and John wanted to explore it with his brother Josh and a group of friends. They thought they could handle it. After all, this was a family of cave veterans. On November 24, 2009, just after 8 p.m., the group entered the cave. They were excited, armed with maps and headlamps. It was supposed to be a casual crawl, just a quick revisit to their roots. Nutty Putty Cave isn't a place for mistakes. It's a hydrothermal cave, carved by hot water and natural pressure, resulting in soft limestone passages that twist like intestines. Some sections are barely wide enough to fit a grown man. One of the most infamous sections was called the Birth Canal, and another simply the Scout Trap. These aren't metaphorical names, they're real and they're terrifying. But the group didn't plan to go deep. Just a quick crawl in and out. What could go wrong? John wanted a challenge. He spotted what he believed was the passage to the birth canal and began maneuvering downward, head first. Except, it wasn't the birth canal. It was a previously unexplored, unmarked, and incredibly narrow crevice. And once John slid in, he couldn't back out. At first he thought he'd just wiggle out. But he couldn't move. Not up, not sideways. He was stuck head down in a tunnel only 10 inches wide and 18 inches high, about the size of a small microwave. His arms were pinned underneath him. His body was slowly sliding further down due to gravity. Every breath became harder. He was stuck at a 70-degree angle, upside down, crushing his lungs. His brother Josh crawled in to help but couldn't reach him. The space was too tight. They knew immediately that this was beyond what they could handle. Josh crawled out and called 911. It was 9 p.m. when the emergency call went out. Within 30 minutes, the first rescuers arrived at the scene. By then, John had been stuck for over an hour. His situation was critical. Being upside down for even 15 minutes put strain on the body. After an hour, organs start to shift. Blood flow becomes erratic. Over the next few hours, more than 100 rescuers descended on Nutty Putty Cave. They included medical professionals, search and rescue teams, engineers, even a special team trained in cave extraction. The rescue plan was clear. Anchor a pulley system, connect ropes to John's legs and slowly pull him out inch by inch. But nothing about Nutty Putty was cooperative. The limestone walls were too soft to hold anchors. Ropes snapped. Metal rods bent. And John's position made it nearly impossible to apply any force without causing him pain or further injury. Throughout the night, John remained conscious. He joked with rescuers. He sang hymns. He prayed. He apologized for causing so much trouble. He was kind, calm, and incredibly strong. But time was not on his side. Every passing hour increased the pressure on his body, threatening his survival. The rescuers worked non-stop for hours. They pumped warm air into the cave to keep him from freezing. They gave him N4 with sugar and pain meds. They even installed a radio system so he could talk with his wife. Yes, his wife. She spoke to him from above ground. They prayed together. She told him to hold on, that everything would be okay. John said he loved her over and over again. But internally, John was deteriorating. The angle of his body caused his heart to strain. Blood pooled in his brain. His diaphragm had less and less room to expand. After nearly 19 hours of effort, the rescuers finally succeeded in pulling him up a few feet. There was hope, a collective breath of relief. But then disaster. The pulley system failed. A bolt snapped from the cave wall. John fell back into the crevice, this time deeper than before. The energy in the cave shifted. Everyone knew what that meant. Time had run out. His vitals dropped. Communication went silent. Medics crawled back in and found no signs of life. At 11:56 p.m., on November 25th, John Edward Jones was declared dead. Cause: cardiac arrest due to positional asphyxiation. He died upside down 400 feet inside the earth, in a crevice that wasn't even part of the map. The cave, once a playground for thrill seekers, had become his tomb. And no one, not even trained rescuers, could get him out. The decision was made. Nutty Putty Cave would be sealed forever, with John's body still inside. The tragedy shook the world of cave exploration. 4 days, news stations covered the story. A man who went exploring and never came back out. The U.S. government and Utah authorities permanently closed Nutty Putty Cave. They sealed it with a concrete plug to prevent any future access. John's body remains there to this day, entombed in rock, a solemn monument to human fragility and the power of nature. His family chose not to recover his body. The risk to other lives was too high. Instead, they held a memorial service and honored his bravery and faith. John's widow, Emily, gave birth to their second child just months later. She named her son after his father, John. The story spread across forums, documentaries, and podcasts. It became a cautionary tale in every caving community. Even seasoned professionals reevaluated their limits. Nutty Putty's name became synonymous with both wonder and tragedy. It represented the allure of the unknown, and the price it sometimes demands. Safety protocols were rewritten. Training programs began using John's story as a case study for positional danger and rescue failures. But more than that, people remembered his humanity, his kindness, his grace under pressure, his calm voice in the dark. John wasn't just another statistic. He was a husband, a father, a friend, and now a part of the cave forever. Let's talk about the science, because John's death wasn't instant and it wasn't due to injuries. It was gravity, anatomy, and time. When you're upside down, blood rushes to your head. Your heart works harder to pump blood against gravity back to your legs and torso. The lungs compress against the diaphragm. Breathing becomes shallow. Over time, carbon dioxide builds up. Oxygen levels plummet. Muscles begin to fail. Organs swell. And the brain, bathed in blood, eventually loses its ability to regulate. In confined spaces, the psychological toll adds up. Panic can spike heart rate. Hyperventilation can lead to blackouts. But John never panicked. Medical literature calls this positional asphyxia. It's rare but deadly. And in caves, it's especially dangerous because you can't reposition. What made it worse? He was alone, trapped, and beyond reach. Rescuers couldn't physically get close enough to lift him without endangering themselves. Even a slight angle shift, 10 degrees more upright, might have saved him. But nature doesn't care about degrees. It cares about laws of physics. His story is a terrifying example of how small mistakes in extreme environments can spiral beyond control. And it's why Nutty Putty will never reopen. It's not just a cave. It's a grave. Today, John's legacy lives on. His story has inspired safety regulations, memorials, and even a film, The Last Descent. The cave is closed but not forgotten. Online, people leave messages. Some pray. Some warn others. Or remember. His brother Josh stopped caving after that day. So did many others who were there. Some say they still hear the echoes of his voice in dreams. Emily, his wife, became an advocate for cave safety. She also chose to live fully, for herself and for their children. His story reminds us that thrill has a price, and that sometimes the bravest thing is not surviving, but facing death with peace. Nutty Putty is now a geological tomb, a sealed reminder that the earth keeps secrets and not all of them want to be disturbed. But John's story is more than a tragedy. It's a testament to love, courage, and the unforgiving beauty of nature. His faith kept him grounded. His family kept him human. And his story keeps him alive. So the next time you think about going deeper, remember, the earth doesn't always give back what it takes. And somewhere beneath Utah, a man still rests in silence in stone. If this story moved you, you're not alone. It's one of the most heartbreaking true events ever recorded in cave exploration. Share your thoughts in the comments. Would you ever enter a cave like Nutty Putty? Subscribe to Infinity for more real stories that reveal the raw edge of human experience. And always remember, some doors once opened can never be closed again.